Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the United States. And on this video I will be showing you my second card for my May Sweet of the Month using the Oval Occasions bundle. The bundle is available at a 10% discount if you purchase it as a bundle. And again, it's part of my Sweet of the Month program. How that works is if you purchase the bundle from me, then I will send you the components to make both cards that I have on my YouTube video so that you can make them along with me. So if you're interested, please contact me to learn more about that. And now I'm going to turn my camera around so that we can get started. All right, and here is the card that we are going to make today using that wonderful Oval Occasions bundle. And I also used a couple of extra products, which I will talk about as I go through the card. And we are actually going to use a different color for the base because I've made a couple of those already. And I wanted to try out another color. So as always, we're starting with a basic white card base. You can use regular or the thick one. Thick actually makes a nice card. And then I have cut a piece of the pattern paper. This is from the Brights. So let me show you the designs that it comes in. This is Melon Mambo. There are two different designs that are two-sided. And any of them, of course, will work for the card, but I chose this design. And you get in that paper pack, so you get two each of the two designs. So 4 sheets in each color. And there are 10 colors in the color family, so 40 sheets in the package. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get ready to adhere this to the card base, but first we need to grab some ribbon. And we are actually going to use Highland Heather. Most of the colors on the card are the Brights, but like for this one I used Pool Party for the ribbon, and that's a subtle. And this is Highland Heather, and it is Highland Heather Grosgrain ribbon. So I'm going to use that on this one. And I'm just going to grab my glue dots and work right off the roll like I usually do. I love this ribbon. It's got some really pretty silver sparkle, which hopefully you can see. And we're just going to leave a little, we'll do it a little in from the edge. And this is the same size as my card front. So it is 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. And that's for an A2 card. If you're using an A4 card, it's 10.5 centimeters by 14.9 centimeters. That would be the size that you need. And then I'm just going to take another glue dot. And now I'm going to take my multi-purpose liquid glue, and we will adhere it to the card front. All right, and the next thing we're going to do is punch. Take that wonderful double oval punch, and we're going to use the larger one, the scalloped one, and punch out 5 of them in Daffodil Delight, Bermuda Bay, Melon Mambo, Coastal Cabana. You can see I've been making a lot of these lately. And Granny Apple Green. And I also have a square vellum doily, which I'll show you against here so you can see it. And we're going to cut that in half. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And we're going to line it up right here so it fits right in that slot, and then make sure that this looks even here. And cut it in half. And then I've also cut, put it there so you can see it, cut one of the elements from the Dandy Wishes dies because I wanted a third vellum element beside the 2 halves of the doily. And then we're also going to be using the Dandelions 3D embossing folder, but we're going to do our stamping first. So I'm going to put this aside. We're going to stamp "Thank you for your kindness," which comes from that Oval Occasions set. And we're going to stamp it in Granny Apple Green. And I normally say stamp first and then cut, then punch, but you can do it either way. Obviously that works, but it's probably better to stamp it before we do our embossing. That is important. I did on one of the first ones stamp afterwards because I decided to put the sentiment there afterward, and it was just embossed a little bit on the bottom so it didn't interfere, but just to be on the safe side, it is probably better to stamp it before you emboss it. And then actually we're going to do the inside of the card and get all of our stamping done. So for the inside sentiment, I'm using one from Inspired Thoughts, the one that says "You make a difference every day." And I'm going to stamp that in the gorgeous grape to coordinate with the front. But I did want to show that these wonderful sentiments can be used, a lot of them, with the Oval Occasions punch. And you can tell that by, for example, "Peace, Love, Joy." If you hold it the long way, it fits right there. It might even, it might even fit in the smaller one, but definitely in the larger one. And with "Heartfelt Sympathy" fits, possibly in both of them as well. "Thinking of You on Your Special Day" will fit in the larger one. "Hello" fits in, obviously, in either one. So even "Thank you so much" and the "Congratulations" can fit in the larger one, or you could ink the "thank you" and stamp, and then clean it and ink "so much" and put it underneath. So lots of possibilities. This set really coordinates very nicely with this punch, which is nice because the Oval Occasion set that I showed you earlier, this one has not continued into the big catalog, but the punch has, and these stamps will coordinate, many of them in the stamp set. All right, so let's do our stamping on the inside. So again, I'm bringing in that gorgeous grape. And we're going to ink up the "You Make a Difference Every Day" because I thought that went nicely with the "thank you." And then for the last of our stamping, I've got my Melon Mambo ink pad. And the hearts that come from the Oval Occasions stamp set. And I'm just going to do an outline around each side to fancy it up a little bit. And I will do the same thing on the corner of the envelope, is just put the hearts along the bottom, what would be this bottom corner on the front. So that is all of our stamping. So the next thing I'm going to do is emboss. So I've got this wonderful folder, this Dandelions 3D embossing folder. And what I did, hopefully you can see it on camera, but I took each of the colors in turn and I started near the top of the dandelion. Over a little bit, I think. And basically just tried to line up each color so that there was overlap, maybe like this. And this is how I'm going to set them up on the card as well. So then I took the Coastal Cabana, and you want to line it up basically with the Melon Mambo. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but, and then Granny Apple Green, and then the Bermuda Bay. And actually I'm going to move them up because I can see it's not quite fitting, and that's all right. This is the time to do it, is while you have time to finagle with it a little bit. Yeah, that'll be good. And then I can see once I lay it down exactly, hopefully you can see that. Oops, top one just moved. Hang on. Hold the phone. And you do want to take the time to do this before you actually emboss it so you're happy with the result, but it really just takes a moment. Let's see, move that in a little bit. Better to be fussy now so that you're happy with the result. Yes. And hopefully, I'm not going to pick it up too much, but hopefully you can see the larger dandelion is here, so it overlaps with the Daffodil Delight, and then the second one overlaps with the Daffodil Delight in the Coastal Cabana. Thank you shows without too much embossing over it, and then the stems and leaves at the bottom. So I am going to emboss this off camera with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and be right back. And here we are. Pull those out. And then we just need to assemble the front. And the way I did it was to take those two halves of the doily and just kind of laid them out with just a little bit of an edge around them of the darker paper. And then this is just going to lay right here. And because it's vellum and the vellum shows, the easiest thing to do is kind of lay it out this way. Actually, I may do a little bit of overlap with that doily. But lay it out this way. You don't want to use too much adhesive that's going to show. So I'm just going to use a couple of glue dots, one on each of the doilies, and then we're going to sort of put them where we know they're not going to overlap. So for example, on this one, I want to put it kind of right about here because I know that there's going to be an oval that sits there that will hide the adhesive and help hold the doily down. And then the same thing for this. I'm going to put one up here where I know that first one's going to go. And that's all I'm going to do to hold them down. And like I said, I'm going to let the ovals do the work. And then this one, I'm going to just turn it a little bit and have it toward the top like that. Because again, there should be an oval. And I don't care if some of it peeks through like it did here. That's actually fine. And I'm using, again, my multi-purpose liquid glue to put them down. But before I do that, I want to lay them out and make sure that I have them the way I want them. This is going to go about here to make sure they fit, because I did do it, even this one, I kind of squeezed in the Bermuda base. So I want to make sure, and you want to make sure, that they're lined up to your satisfaction before you start to glue. And again, it will even help hold the ribbon down. And this is going to go about here. And last but not least, that Bermuda Bay. And you can see, I hope that it lines up right there. And you kind of have the sense of one of the stems heading up. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to move it in, I think, just a little bit. Which means that Daffodil, the light one, has to be moved in just a little bit. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. So now I'm going to start to lay them down. And again, I'm using the multi-purpose liquid glue and kind of putting a generous amount in the middle because there's a lot of dimension here and a lot of like nooks and crannies. And so I'm doing that so that it will catch and hold everything down. So you want to hold that for a minute just to make sure it's going to hold everything down, the ribbon and the vellum underneath, and catch to the cardstock. Again, I've got just a little bit of overlap on the bottom. Even when I measure them, I have an issue with that a little bit. And this is peeking through, so I think I'm going to actually snip it off because on the other one it was hiding behind the oval. Again, it just depends on where you place them, but I think I'm just going to snip that off because I don't want that to show. I think that looks better, but you can see it'll be held down here and here. And then last but not least, we're going to bring that ribbon back in and just tie it, loop it around once. And just do it nice and tight and you should be all set. And we'll trim it, cut it at an angle. Whoops. And on the other side as well. There we go. And that is our card for today. I hope you liked it. Thanks so much for joining me for my Suite of the Month, for my second card in my Suite of the Month. And if you are interested in joining future ones and you are a customer of mine, please contact me and we will get that set up. And look on my calendar on my business website, carolsinkyfingers.stampinup.net, to find out information for the next Suite of the Month. And have a great day, everyone. Tune in again soon. Bye-bye.